Wave Radio 1120 FM. And of course, on my Facebook account. Okay, good morning, everybody. This is MJ Make My Day, streaming live from New Jersey, USA. And you are actually watching us over on Facebook. MJ Make My Day. And at the same time, you are listening to us live on Wave Radio 1120 FM. Good morning, everybody. Kamusta po sa mga Barangay Wave Radio 1120 FM. And we are live. All right, again, one more time. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to MJ Make My Day. And this is the Glass Half Full episode hosted by Dr. Lisa and Dr. Azza Ezzat. Okay, all right. Good morning, everybody. So anyway, I would like to bring you to our host for this morning while we are waiting for our co-host. Okay, so I would like to introduce you to her. She has been a licensed mental health counselor for 15 years and has been in private practice in Staten Island for the past 8 years. She is experienced with providing counseling to all ages, and her focus has been on cognitive behavior therapy, mindfulness, and building a resilient life. She has been working in both inpatient and outpatient community settings during her 30-year career, to include being a counselor after 911 for the city of New York, and is currently providing counseling during the latest pandemic crisis. Author of your weekly Journal of Positive Wellness and Affirmation, please help me welcome licensed mental health counselor, Dr. Lisa Blanchfield. Dr. Lisa, good morning.
Good morning. Yes.
How are you doing today? How was your week so far?
So far, so good. I'm glad to be back. We're still waiting, of course, for the co-host, Dr. Azza, but I think we're going to start, and hopefully we'll have some discussion and some questions if people are interested to let us know. This is a forum where you can actually comment and ask questions in the StreamYard, something new that we're enjoying. So please ask us questions and contribute if you can.
Absolutely. All right. So we have a very interesting topic for this morning, Dr. Lisa. So without any further ado, I would like to do the introduction if you're ready.
Yes.
All right. So there you go, everybody. And again, I would like to welcome you to the Glass Half Full, hosted by Dr. Lisa and Dr. Azza Ezzat. When you hear the word holistic, what do you think? You may associate it with an organic health food store or barefoot yogis chanting together with their eyes closed. Taking a holistic approach to something means looking at the whole situation and not just one or two parts. When it comes to mental health, a holistic approach considers how a person's well-being is affected by their physical, psychological, emotional, social, and spiritual condition. A holistic approach to mental health will treat all these elements as pieces of a larger puzzle that must be individually addressed to achieve healing, which is something that traditional medicine doesn't always do. Addressing underlying mental health issues is essential for a successful recovery, while traditional avenues such as talk therapy and prescription medications can be highly effective for treating mental health conditions like anxiety, depression, and PTSD. A holistic approach can add alternative therapies that prove to be beneficial. Let me bring you back over to our host for this evening, The Glass Half Full by Dr. Lisa and Dr. Azza. And this is Dr. Lisa Blanchfield.
So good morning and good evening to everyone. The topic tonight is to discuss and try to impart some knowledge about holistic approaches to mental health and actually to any medical condition. And basically that the definition that MJ just discussed with you, which is to look at the mind, the body, the spirit, to look at outside factors in our environment. And it's not just to examine the symptoms. So what happens with mental health diagnoses is typically we just look at the symptoms. Is it anxiety? Is it a depressive state? Do they have certain behaviors and characteristics that we notice? With holistic medicine, we're really not looking at the symptoms. We're looking at the cause and the root of the problem. And so it's a little bit deeper, but it's also more expansive. We can look at all other factors in a person's life and to try to pull maybe from a spiritual connection or a mindfulness connection or some other area of their life to kind of reinforce what well-being, healthy behaviors, and not to focus so much on a psychological diagnosis because that's where the stigma comes in.
Thank you very much, Thank you very much, Dr. Lisa. Before we continue, thank you for the wonderful introduction. So before we continue, I would like to welcome our viewers at this hour. So please do the honor. You can actually look at the comment, Dr. Lisa. I believe that they will be very excited if you will be the one to make mention of their names.
Yes, please send us the questions and comments so we can discuss.
Absolutely. And also at this point in time, I would like to greet our friends from Al-Hassa in Saudi Arabia, Jamich De La Cruz, who's actually watching right now, DJ Sunshine. And we also have our, she's our station manager for Wave Radio 1120 FM. We also have our head DJ, DJ Chinita, who's actually watching right now from the Philippines. And of course, Miss Erlinda Sarno from New York. And there will be a lot more. So I would like to invite everybody to please send their comment. And Dr. Lisa, according to Erlinda Sarno, she said, hi, Dr. Lisa and Dr. Azza, neighbor MJ, make my day. And we have Miss Margie Balode, who's actually a very successful producer, entertainment producer from the Philippines, Miss Margie Balode. Good morning to you. And here is Miss M. Garcia. Shalom, worldwide viewers. Hello, hi, and DJ Chinita, stay healthy. Thank you very much for watching, Miss M. Garcia. Dr. Lisa, take it away.
Very nice. Hello to everyone. I can't see that though. It's not showing up on my in my comments.
Okay, so let me take a look on that matter, and then maybe we can.
I have to click on it.
Yes.
Oh, I did it. I fixed it.
All right. So, all right. Since we have more time while we're waiting for Dr.
Everyone.
Okay, Dr. Azza. All right.
Okay.
So please.
Ralphine, MM Garcia. Good evening, Ralphine. Okay, I see everybody. Erlinda Sarno. Hi, Dr. Lisa. Hello. Margie. Very good.
All right. So this is going to be a very interactive program. So that's what I like about StreamYard. So they can actually comment on Facebook, and we can always see their comments at the same time on real time. All right. So if you have any questions to our expert, Dr. Lisa Blanchfield, our licensed mental health counselor, please feel free to do so. All right. Again, our topic for this evening is holistic approach to mental health. Dr. Lisa, would you like to continue?
So one of the questions or comments is superpower and how to be resilient amidst the pandemic in a holistic way. So we did want to talk about the pandemic again. We thought maybe it was a topic we could retire and not have to bring back in the glass half full. But unfortunately, as we all know, there's an uptick again, and we have the Delta variant, and we have family members who are now infected, and certain states have very high rates. Right now, I know in Florida, Texas, there are many areas where it's just running rampant and out of control again. So mental health our mental health has suffered, not just temporarily. We thought it was going to be for a couple months, and now we're going into a year and a half of it. It's causing increased depression, anxiety, suicide rates are up. People are ready to lock down again, which is not really healthy for us, right? So the topic is how to find ways to work through your mental health issues that aren't related to medication and psychotherapy. That's not always beneficial. So we're going to talk about some other methods. I think everyone's familiar with either their spirituality, their exercise, their holistic approach to their diet, exercise, all the things that we can do to kind of distract our brain away from the psychiatric issues we might be having and kind of divert our attention. And I think that on a daily basis, whatever practices we can incorporate it. Some people have to exercise, meditate, change your diet, introduce foods that are more helpful and not causing as much stress. And of course, stress is the biggest factor with physical health, mental health. We know we have to reduce the stress in order to regain our health. So I'm sure we're all suffering again through all of the panic and all the concern about future lockdowns and what may happen, but we're here for you, and we wanted to have this conversation again to see if people had specific questions or comments for us.
Thank you for letting me know. So, right now, what I was said a while ago, according to statistics for the world, there are 210 million cases around the world, and there are 4.41 million cases. And we all know that COVID-19 is caused by a coronavirus called SARS-CoV-2. Older adults and people who have severe underlying medical conditions like heart or lung disease or diabetes seem to be at higher risk for developing more serious complications from COVID-19 illness. And Dr. Lisa, right now, it's not only the COVID-19, but also the new variants that are coming out recently. We have the Delta, the Lambda variant, and now is the Delta variant. So
Right.
it's really worldwide. The whole world is suffering from this pandemic. So, Dr. Lisa, go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right. So, because of the situation right now, a lot of people are getting so depressed. And according to Ralph Inang, even in the Philippines, the Delta variant is already present. And my friend Virginia, who lives in Saudi Arabia, also experienced having COVID, and thankfully she's actually well and in a good condition right now. So we really need some kind of help and guidance on how we can actually surpass, especially those people that are actually getting depressed.
I think the time span that we've gone through last year, it was a shock, and I think we were all adjusting to the new protocols and wearing masks and social distancing. A lot of people quarantined. We were isolated at home. And then it was a feeling as if we conquered it. The vaccines came out. We started to develop our immunity. And now it's as if we've regressed and we're back to where we were a year ago. So obviously, this is what would cause people to feel very, very depressed, thinking that we made strides sides and things were getting better, and now we are actually reverting back to almost where we were a year ago. Some of the numbers they're stating now are the same or higher than a year ago. So that's not good news, and I think we're all very concerned where this is going. We're going into the winter. Summer's almost over, so we're going into flu season. I just wish that people could express themselves more and help us with what they're going through, help us to know what they're going through, and to be able to talk about it, because it's kind of a shock again. I think we're back in shock and awe of how is this happening again, and why is it? Why are our family members getting sick? Why are we getting? Some people are saying they are actually getting sick again, or maybe for the first time. So it's really concerning. And Linda's saying, I'm COVID-19 survivor. Thank God I got through it and I'm still alive. It is really about survival, and we feel like we're victims of this horrible pandemic. So thank God people like you, Erlinda, are able to come through it. I did go to a funeral last week for a cousin, and he was 75 and actually was in a nursing facility, and he passed away from COVID. So it's affecting all of us, either getting sick or we're experiencing it, or a family member is, or we know people who have actually passed away from it. So I think we need to start the conversation again, unfortunately, because we started to enjoy our lives and travel and go out, and it seemed like it was over, but it's actually back again, and it's a very strong Delta variant that we're dealing with.
All right, Dr. Lisa. Actually, what's good about this one, we can actually see the comment now in our screen. So, all right. As per Virginia, Delta variant not too much dangerous in KSA. She's actually in Saudi Arabia, not unlike in the Philippines. And we have a comment from M. Garcia. All right, she said, "Glory to God, He's our great physician, miracle worker. He's in control, big faith with utmost care, do safety, health protocols." All right, so as we continue, Dr. Lisa, for those who just tuned in, maybe is it important for us to define why is a holistic approach important in our mental health, and what are the samples of holistic approach?
Okay, I think one of the things that with holistic medicine, especially related to mental health, is we have to get control of our thoughts, because our minds control our daily functioning. So when we can look at our situation in a more positive way and to use different strategies kind of to relax ourselves, then we can actually make it through a day that might be a day where you're very depressed, very anxious, very concerned, worried. But how we control our mind and our thinking is how we are able to conquer it. So a lot of Eastern religions that I read about and study, for example, Buddha and Buddhism and all of the ideology regarding meditation and mindfulness, this is about choosing your thoughts, right? So you have to take any negative thoughts, ruminating thoughts, out of control thoughts, and we have to shut them down and try to understand that at the moment, we can't control everything going on. So we have to live in the moment. It's very difficult to do. We worry about the past, over. We think about the future. We can't control it. So the concept is to just live for today. And if you practice that self-talk and try to convince yourself that it is just about today and how today is going, it helps to reduce anxiety. I don't know if anyone practices meditation. If anyone does, let me know how it's working for you. Deep breathing, any kind of chanting, prayer. It's really just becoming isolated with your thoughts, but then trying to get control of them at the same time, if that makes sense.
All right, Dr. Lisa, I think Dr. Azza is with us right now. So let's bring her to the studio, Dr. Azza.
Hi, hello. The same trouble again. I'm so sorry.
But you're here.
I
You can
know.
take over now. Take over.
Okay. Hi.
We've got a lot of comments you want to see, maybe questions, comments.
I'm still connecting only through my phone, so I don't have the.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why, but that's what's been happening now.
Can you see where it says comments?
Where chat? No.
Okay, go to the next one. It says comments.
Yes, yes. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of questions, comments.
All right. Okay. So that's excellent. Yes.
Some people are talking about COVID, and they've either had COVID, they've gone through it, they've survived it, they have family members. We're getting more comments about where we're at in our thinking right now with the Delta variant, and it kind of becoming a pandemic in our lives again after we felt like we were trying to start over again and have some normal days. And now people are really concerned about it because of the increase in numbers.
Wow, I love the comment. It's a lot of really comment, and I see a lot of positivity. So I'm so glad that it's echoing.
Yes.
Okay, so what did you start saying, Dr. Lisa? I know that mental health is your area of expertise, and I always really respect it. Yes.
We're talking about the holistic approach, which you know you've been practicing for years: mind, body, spirit, exercise, eating habits, and how that will affect our treatment of mental health issues, particularly anxiety and depression.
Okay, yes, definitely, yes. It all depends on what people interpretation to the word holistic, because I did believe that sometimes people think holistics mean we are giving up, especially in the healthcare field. When people start hearing the word holistic, they think it's just giving up on the medical kind of treatment and issues, and just going to the natural remedies, where in fact it goes hand to hand with everything else, because it's a whole human being, and you cannot just divide one area from the other. So holistic, sometimes it means the whole, it's just the whole person approach. So that's how I look at the holistic, and I think more and more people start to really believing and listening and getting more interested in what holistics mean. Do you see that, Lisa?
Well, yeah, what I talked about was how mental health diagnoses limit the person by saying this is what you have going on, and they focus on the symptoms rather than the root of the problem. And the root of the problem can sometimes be addressed through other methods other than psychotherapy and medication, right? So we don't all have to run to the psychiatrist and try to figure out what's happening. A lot of times we can study it ourselves. There's different approaches that we can use. I talked about in Buddhism with the mindfulness, meditation, yoga is excellent. All kinds of exercise are known to increase endorphins in the brain. So if we start to understand that we can get control of our health, and especially our mental health, I think it's less difficult for people, because they feel like they have a part in it rather than just a doctor saying this is what you have and this is what we need to do about it. And I encourage people all the time to try to find ways and strategies to help themselves feel better, even on just a daily basis, whatever helps them to get through the day.
I also have to add here, even for people who think there is a doctor and there is a medication or remedy for every issue that we have in our life, unless you go with the right direction for the physician or the healthcare provider to take you, they can take you to the wrong road also.
That's right.
So it's so important, like you said, Lisa, that you sit with yourself and you find out where is the blocking you from living your life to the best of what you can live. And it's so interesting because now I see it more and more, being that I'm in close proximity with not just my patient, but my family and everybody else. And it's just like mind boggling when people just expect the doctor to make not just to diagnose, but to make the decision for them as well. So we have to be in charge of our body. And if you don't think that it's worth it, or it's the time and the effort, what make you think that the doctor will care? It's just like you have to care enough about yourself to be able to know where is your weakness and what's stopping you and what's blocking you. Because with mental health, you have to be honest with yourself, because your mental ability to acknowledge what's going on, that can either help you or it can destroy you. You can be really suggesting something to yourself, and you can be living in something like it doesn't exist per se. If, like, for example, if you're worrying about if you get COVID, that's just like a quick example. I'm a good COVID. What will happen if I get COVID? So what happened is you're suffering and nothing happened yet. So
Right.
instead of wasting that energy for the predicting what may happen, you can just focus on being grateful that you don't have anything now, helping somebody else struggle. No matter where you are in your life, no matter where you are, there are somebody in a worse situation, mentally, physically, financially, emotionally, relationship. No matter where you are, there are always somebody else's in a worse situation than you are. So try to give a hand. It's amazing how much we help ourselves when we connect and try to help somebody else. It's just amazing. It just, I cannot explain it. It just will give you so much energy you wouldn't even think that you ever had.
We talked a little bit about controlling the mind in order to then control your symptoms and to control your life. But to actually practice it, it's difficult because we have to understand what's causing us to feel the way we do. There are organic diseases and mental health diagnoses that I am not saying you don't need a doctor. You do if it's extreme, if you're dysfunctional, if you can't leave the house, if you have any other very dangerous symptoms or things going on. We're not saying you cannot do this yourself, but for anxiety and depression, we know what it is, and the thoughts are coming from our heads, right? Our minds are generating the thought of us being depressed or being anxious. So in order to get control of those thoughts, you have to figure out what the best strategy is and what works for you, because not everything works for every person, right? So if you're into exercise and you know when you exercise that then you have a better day, then you have to do it. And it takes a lot more work to do it yourself than to rely on someone else to fix it for you. So we can't fix everyone's problems as doctors. What we have to say is, what part are you taking in this journey, right? So if you're obese, we can just tell you, and any doctor can tell you, for example, you're overweight, but who's got to do the work to become healthy again? You have to do it yourself. And that's the most difficult part, I think, is because we have to train our brains to control the behavior that's unhealthy. No one can do that for us. I don't know what anyone else thinks, but I find it very difficult to try to fix my own thoughts. But in order to get control of them is then where you're heading in a positive direction, right? You get rid of the stress. You say, this isn't bothering me. I'm not engaging in this. Turn it off. And whatever way we do that, then we gain that power, right, within ourselves. And that's how we can succeed and become healthier. I think sometimes people need help, and I'm the one there cheering people on. I don't mind, but I also have to say, these are the things you need to do. These are the steps you have to take if you want to feel better.
And I agree with you, Lisa, because I think one of the most important start in any issue is just to recognize and to say I do have a problem.
Right.
Because what happened when we deny it or try to hide it or deal with it, it just continue to be inside, and it's just like something you're trying to put a lid on, but it just doesn't stop. And I believe from personal experience and from a lot of the cases that I see in my work and my life and everywhere around, self-image, like sometimes we don't think of ourselves the way we should, and we try to cover up, like we go and have the hair done, the nail done, and I wouldn't say just women, men and women, we try to cover up, and self-image that we put outside, it doesn't coincide with how we feel, and we start having conflict, and we are not going to be in the satisfaction kind of desired until we accept ourselves and accept our limitation and accept and love ourselves and start working on something that we can improve. And it doesn't have to be, it's just the look, it's the internal kind of feeling, because we are all spiritual being. And when you have a self image and you love yourself and you treat yourself the way you treat everybody else in front of people and when you're alone, this will make tremendous improvement in your life. There are so many yoga and mindfulness about self-image and how to love yourself and to be kind to yourself and to move from the doing mode to the being mode, which is just to be calm with yourself and reflect on how unique you are and what's your purpose in life, and have a quiet time with yourself and see how wonderful you are, and start to recognize every miracle that you have, that we don't realize that it's a miracle and we take it for granted. Every day is a miracle. Every movement we have, it's just amazing how we are, and sometimes we don't realize it. So self-image is so important because that's the mental picture that we have for ourselves, and when we go out, that's what we carry, whether we're going to go at work, career, home, that's what we carry inside us. So if it's conflicting and you still don't have the right self-image about yourself and recognize and have the confidence, I think that will, if we start working on that, that will play a great role in mental health improvement and overall confidence and well-being.
That was wonderful, Dr. Lisa and Dr. Asa. I would like to point on the self images. I think it is important. So, being able to work in an entertainment industry for quite a while, I think images or the image of a certain actors or actresses is very important. Is it the same way when we apply it to our personal life, that how we project ourselves, making ourselves happy about it, or how do we start projecting a good image for us, not just for the purpose of we're looking good, but also feeling good inside as well?
I would just say that we see so many actor and actors and they seem wonderful, but they're not happy, and we don't realize that until they commit suicide. So self-image that I mean is just you accept yourself, you love yourself, and it's okay to go and beautify yourself too, because we all want to be beautiful and feel beautiful. It makes us feel good. But the inside beauty, the confidence, the acceptance of who you are with your own skin, accent, facial expression, you don't wait for somebody to validate and it's build up slowly, like building the muscle. And that takes a long time to be able to say, I am who I am, and I'm accepting that, and I love myself, and nobody's perfect, but I'm okay with where I am and where I'm going. And you don't compare yourself with anybody else. That's the beauty that I mean is, but if you start to compare yourself, there will always be somebody more beautiful than you, or somebody have more money than you, or somebody's better than you in any way or shape. So self-image is just putting yourself in your real self and accepting and beautify, and inside and outside there's always dimension to improve in terms of how we look, how we feel, how we interact. there is always way to improve our image, but we have to accept it first and work on self-improvement. What do you think, Lisa? I like to hear your opinion.
So I think happiness is a choice. I've gotten to this point to realize that the result is not happiness. What we choose every day to do in order to make ourselves feel stronger, yes, more confident, and to think positive. Nothing can make you happy. You have to create that feeling in yourself. And how you do that is individualistic. So we all can choose what makes us happy, but we need healthy choices. And some people do choose unhealthy, dangerous, detrimental things to try to feel happy because they haven't gotten to the root of the problem. So they cover, their unhappiness with alcohol or drugs or overeating or lack of exercise or complaining. And if you choose to help yourself, that's where you learn how to become happy without external factors trying to make you happy. So materialism and materialistic thinking is, if I have the most beautiful car and the most beautiful house and the most beautiful husband or wife, I'm going to be happy. But unfortunately, and I have done this listened to people for many years, all of the external factors do not make you happy. So we have to feel it within. And you all know people who have everything and they're still miserable, and people who have wealth and fame and you name it, whatever, they might have all unhealthy relationships. They can't get it right. So those factors are not what creates that peacefulness we get. If we can just be happy with ourselves and like ourselves, we have to think those thoughts every day that I am okay, I'm doing okay, I'm doing the right thing, I am healthy. Because when we think, oh, how can I get healthy? How can I be happy? And you're searching all the time, it's really from within. But you have to work on it and find it. And it's not easy. I am not one to say it's the easiest way to go. External things, sometimes for a moment we feel happier, right? It kind of gives us a less stressful day because we're doing something that's really causing us to have some enjoyment, but it doesn't last, right? How long does that last? So we have to be comfortable with ourselves, and it's very difficult. The holistic methods, though, help you to become the person you want to be, and it's really, to me, the easiest way to do it. It takes a lot of work.
Excellent point. And I just want to add something, because I've been working in the last 5 years on just avoiding being upset or disappointed. And the fact that it still happened, I can tell you it's never going to be perfect. And you're going to find yourself failing to really to be the way you want it, 100%, nothing bother me kind of a situation. But I catch myself, and that's in itself, being aware is a process, and it's a good start. So I catch myself, I said to myself, I thought I said that nothing is going to bother me, or people, whoever talking about me is not going to bother me anymore, but it still bother you, that's normal. And then I say, oh, we are human being, and that's normal. So I switched the way I talk to myself. I said, it's not that it's not going to bother me, but I'm at a stage of my life that I accept myself, and I don't expect everybody to accept me and like me, but I'm okay with where I am. So just the fact that you're going to start to talk to yourself and to take the initiative, that your focus should be on not to 100% please people, because that's never going to happen. So it's just like, you be kind, you be yourself. And at the same time, if it's reverse, it shouldn't bother you much. Like, you should accept that we're not living in the most wonderful, perfect kind of world, and it was never perfect, and it will never be perfect. So the fact that you are aware, it just gives you a sense of awareness. So when it happened, you catch it early enough before it gets worse, and you go home and you start talking about it. And so I don't even repeat to anybody else. I heard it, it upset me. I catch myself and I block it off my mind, and it goes away. So we
Thank
are
you.
human beings, you know.
I would like to piggyback on what you said, Dr. Atza. So I know how hard and it's how awful it is to hear some comments from other people, even though we tried our very best to please them. So what should we do if the situation is going to be like that? And it doesn't, it seems like it's not going to change at all.
For me, I adapted one of the Mother Teresa prayers, because it was at one point, like, I go home, I said, shall I change myself? I've been so nice, and maybe people are taking advantage of my niceness. And then I came across Mother Teresa, one of the prayer that I believe it's very popular, and regardless to what religion you have or what ethnicity, it's something that you really, really, really need. When you hear it, it just puts you back in perspective about what's going on and what is the world is about. So I have it, and anytime I said, if I get bothered, I said to the person, or if I hear somebody is upset, I say, go Google Mother Teresa's prayer and keep it in front of you, and you will know not to be bothered by this kind of attitude and behavior. And if anybody, I'm sure everybody have kind of computer. If you just Google Mother Teresa, I'm gonna try to see it. Prayer. I think it's about anyway. Let me see here. Yeah, it's called Anyway. Yes, it's one of the themes that you can keep it in front of you, and it will always bring you back to perspective to what's going on. So it says in the prayer, it's people are often unreasonable, irrational, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motive. Be kind anyway. If you're successful, you will win some unfaithful friend and some genuine enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and sincere, people may deceive you. Be honest and sincere anyway. What you spend years creating, others could destroy it overnight. Create anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, some may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the best you have, and it will never be enough. Give your best anyway. In the final analysis, it is between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. So
That's my favorite too.
that's summarize anything in life that you can go through and how people are gonna react. So it's up to you to decide how you react, to keep going, to succeed, to be kind, to build, to be happy. And you may not have what you expect from others, but you're not doing it for others, you're doing it to a higher power. So I always remind anybody who gets upset, and even if I get upset or hurt by any situation, it take me back to perspective. Like, you cannot change yourself because people want you to be changed, or you want to lower yourself or change yourself and change your energy. So I like this kind of a prayer, and I think if everybody go by it, and it will be peaceful, because we'll be focused on our own goal and our goods that we are doing in the short period that we are on earth.
Thank you very much, Dr. Azza. Or how about you, Dr. Lisa? What are the holistic approach that we can do whenever we feel that we're in this type of situation that we've been trying so hard, but it seems like some people doesn't really recognize what we're doing for them.
I think what Dr. Azza is saying, how people treat us is their choice, but how we react to it is in our control. So whatever happens, whatever circumstance, whatever situation, people can behave any way they want to, but we have to control our reaction to it. And the holistic way to control it is to get control of your thoughts, because what lives in our mind is what we're thinking, not the other person. So the other person can say anything, do anything, but when we believe in ourselves and we want to have a clear mind and a clean heart, and we know what we're doing is in the best interest of yourself and others, then it doesn't matter what other people say. That's their karma that's going to come to them for whatever they do. But our reaction to it, we have 100% control. And that is difficult to teach. And I try to explain when people are very concerned with what other people are saying, doing, how they're treating them. I remind them that your mind is yours and you control your thoughts. So whatever the other person says, thinks, however they behave, that's not your problem. Your problem is, how did it affect my mind today? And my mind is not going to be influenced by another person in that way that it can cause us stress, can cause us anxiety. People become depressed. We've talked about bullying with teenagers. Words are hurtful. So we just have to disregard other people's actions and just control ourselves. And I think faith, a lot of our comments are regarding having faith, spirituality, putting God first in our lives. This is all part of the holistic, natural, and healthy way. Yes. Is it Mrs. Garcia? I'm not sure if it's male or female. Care of our mind in holistic, natural, and healthy way. A self-love, matter of perspective. Thanks, Dr. Lisa, Dr. Azza. Fabulous, very informative show. Thank you so much for your comment. Self-love is the key. And sometimes we can't love ourselves when we think too much about our image and what other people see. We just have to be confident in who we are.
All right. I think, Dr. Lisa, when you said that it is very difficult to teach, I am guilty of that one.
Uh-oh.
Well, people are resistant, right? Aren't they resistant? They just want you to, okay, what do I do to fix this? Okay, how am I going to fix what's in your mind? I can tell you cognitively. Cognitive behavioral therapy is, what are your thoughts, and then what is your reaction, and what's the behavior? But I try to explain to people, you have control of your thoughts. They're your thoughts. So say this isn't important. Say that person doesn't matter. You know, we can't be so consumed by the exterior world that we're not in our inner thoughts thinking, I just need to calm down and be peaceful. That's what meditation is. It's quiet, peaceful, on your own, in your own head, and no one can actually influence us unless we allow them to, right? That's what Mother Teresa is saying. Keep doing what you're doing, because it's never going to matter in the end, right? What other people do. It's what we do. And we know what we do. And when we do things in a positive way, then it's acceptable to us. We have to just please ourselves. I don't know if everyone agrees with that, but once you start to do self-love and please yourself and consider yourself and make yourself the most important thing in your life, then you'll see how all the negativity and the stress starts to dissipate and starts to be removed. Because how can people influence you when you don't allow it to happen?
That's very true.
They're all very welcome. They're all saying thank you.
Yeah, and we also have to remember the way we think. We first think, and then we feel, and then we act. So if we are thinking negative and we are beating ourselves up and worrying about yesterday and concerned about what we did yesterday and worry about tomorrow, we are missing the moment. We are missing our life. We are not living the past, and we are not guaranteed the future. So we shouldn't be worrying, which is taking a lot of effort also to start working in that way. So yesterday should be only an experience learn, and it has nothing to do with what you plan to do or you feel, even though you wake up in the morning and still you say, oh, what happened yesterday and whatever, but it shouldn't affect your day. Your day should be started with hopeful kind of, I hope and I know I'm going to have a wonderful day. I can't wait to experience the beauty of the day that I had. And you start your day with a cheerful kind of attitude. Be happy that you woke up, have some coffee. That could be a holistic approach. Listen to some music, do something you like. You don't have to do something because you have to do. Like if you don't like to exercise, don't start your day by looking, oh my God, I have to exercise. You have to take it easy and be kind to yourself, and start your day with what you like to do, what's the positive, and you try to imagine that you're going to have a beautiful day, and you look outside and you just try to be charming about how you accepting the day, how you the day is starting in your life. So that will make a big difference in the whole attitude. Don't just expect that you're going to have a lot of email and anticipate problems. Try to be positive, try to have a smile and calm feeling, because the calm feeling is just an assurance from inside that you are confident in what's going to happen, and you are able to deal with whatever is coming your way, and nothing is going to hit you. It just happened and I'm going to deal with it. Nothing is going to kill you. Your boss is not in control of your life, and this is just a job. And again, it's just not just a talk. You are here for a reason, and you have to start build the self-confidence and self-love and self-worth. So it's all, we have to start working on ourselves first, and then we're going to change the outside world around us. But we cannot just be afraid and be intimidated and be worrying about everything. That lack of confidence. So every time if I get that feeling, I say, what did I miss? What is wrong? And I start to calm down and put myself in perspective. Like, come on, life goes on, and whatever is going to happen is going to happen, and I'm going to try to make the best out of it. And you remove that anxiety, and then you'll find everything is going well. And sometimes you'll be amazed about how wonderful your day can turn by just being calm, and your emotion and your vibration inside is not opposite to what's going on outside. So you just have to have that calm, relaxed feeling that everything is going to be all right. Everything is going to, I'm well secured in God's hand or in the universe, or you just have to have that faith and the assurance. And we all have a spiritual, but whatever we call it, we all agree that there's a higher power that control everything. And no matter what happens, I have a faith that I'm in good hands, and whatever is going to happen, it's coming my way, and I'm either accepted or I'm going to be protected, and there is a reason behind it. So we have to work on ourselves, and that's what Dr. Lisa was trying to say from the beginning. It's just like you have to take all the dimension of your life, the mental, the physical, the spiritual, relationship. You have to clear all the relationship. It's not like you have to forgive. You have to be kind to your colleague, your roommate, your neighbors, yourself, your family, and your life will be just easy going and wonderful. And that's what life should be. We are all connected to each other one way or another.
I agree. I think one of the things about suffering and trouble and problems that I've always tried to convince myself is these are all lessons that we go through and we survive, and we have to look at it that it's part of life. Things can never be perfect. So I think when we're less disappointed, not expecting things to not go well, but when it does, you learned from it, you grew from it, you got stronger. It's a gift. And when you don't look at it as a punishment, or we think of it as, why did this happen to me? I think it's more important to think this is just part of being alive, and accept it, right? And not fight it. So I tell people, lean into it. Whatever it is happening to you, just go into it with an open mind and say, how am I going to get the strength? And if it's your faith, or it's your family, or it's your relationships with others, it's your career, whatever it is that's going to get you through it, you have to do it. And you have to rely on that, because we can't always look at trouble and look at hardship as this horrible thing, because it's so negative, and that's where the depression sets in, because I'm so upset about whatever happened. Okay, so flip it that this happened. It's you, it's your turn, and you just have to move on with it, right? It's very difficult. Some people really cannot get it, and I try my best, and they're just like, no, it's not that way. That's not how life is. So I can impart the knowledge. I can say it's worked for me. But I think it's something you have to give in. You have to let it go and say, you know what, this is my turn. This is what's happened. And why not me, right? People say, oh, look what happened and all these problems and I have all this trouble. Well, it could be worse, and go forward and figure out how to fix it. And solution-based therapy is great. I love it because we always come up with a solution, right, to every problem. And if it's so difficult, just try to find a way to deal with it, and see if you can do that on your own, right? We all need help, but we also have to change our mindset and our attitude towards things that happen to us.
Excellent idea.
We have more comments.
All right. Why don't we start reading all the comments, Dr. Lisa and Dr. Azza?
Okay. Let me see what we got here. Let go, let God. That's a good one.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah.
Be more prayerful. Trials in life. Who doesn't have that, right? We've all got that. I think just accepting too, support groups are really good. Online groups, people talking to each other, all of the people here tonight, just having support. So you're not alone. A lot of times it is difficult to be alone. So try to find someone to talk to. Friends. I have amazing friends, and I bother them all the time because I start to get to the point that we can't always handle everything ourselves. Family is wonderful too, children, whoever you can rely on for support. That's probably the best way to gain your strength back, because people are good. People have good hearts. People will help you. You just have to reach out and say, you know, I'm struggling and I need help. And I don't think that is a sign of weakness. It's just saying that your mind at the moment, it's difficult, whatever you have, the burden you have to handle, and try to share it with others.
Oh, here there is a question here, Lisa, about I think Erlinda Sarno. You said, Dr. Lisa, I have been quarantined for 10 days, and I do natural medicine, doing hot water and salt steam inhaler, and feel much better. So there are people saying that it's true that natural medicine, again, you check with your physician, but also vitamin C. I read so many articles also about the black seed oil that even they are treating now with the black seed, even the COVID-19 without any other medication, and the honey. So there are so many good remedies, because the whole idea is, while you are having invaders in our life, we have to strengthen our immunity system and defense in order to be able to fight it and to be able to win the fight against the COVID, whether we surrounded by it, we contracted, or we are still living with it. So the best way ever is just to strengthen your immunity system. Good habit, which is sleep 7 to 8 hours every night. Drinking fluids, drink a lot of mint, lemon, some herbal tea, which has no side effect on any blood pressure or anything else, and just being in relaxed mode. So you do yoga, you do meditation, so your system will be in the relaxing mode, because anxiety put the body in the fight anticipation mode, which can be very harmful, which is an anxiety part of it, can be very harmful to our nervous system. So, and not just nervous system, and immunity as well. So we'll be vulnerable to attracting any disease. So
So
take
the
care of
stress,
yourself.
you're saying the stress can affect our immunity, right? When you are overstressed, under stress.
100%, because your body doesn't know if it's real or not. It's a threat, because once
Oh,
you start having that an anxiety, and that's inside us from our ancestor, where people used to be afraid of any enemies, and you're on that um, uh, offensive kind of mode and anticipation. It keep your whole body in a fire zone, where it is like cause inflammation. Inflammation also decrease the immunity system. It's worse. Now they said that inflammation is worse than anything else. So, and that's the cause of the disease. So you don't need to keep your body in the inflammation red zone state, where your body in the fight or flight kind of mode. So an anxiety, we can deal. Sometimes an anxiety can be good if it's short term and it's going to help you to achieve something. Like if I'm anxious about tomorrow's assignment and I spend more time preparing, that's a good anxiety, and it disappears soon as the assignment completed. But the anxiety that it just coming out of nowhere and going nowhere, that adds up. It has accumulation effect on our system, and it's not beneficiary for us. So, and it's something we can control by just calming music, stay away from the media if that's what really irritates you. If you're coming from work, you don't argue with your loved one, or you go to any stressful kind of condition or situation. You just go and try to listen to some soothing music, go for a shower, go for a walk, go and eat something you like, treat yourself. But it's so important to treat our body, our temple, with respect, and be careful, because that's, even if you get sick, you'll be able to get over it and recover it faster. And it's obvious that there are some recovery. There are some people recover, some people don't. So we always hear how many recover, and we always hear how many died. But if you go and deep further, it's the way you manage your body and your system is the way you're going to be able to act and react to disease and illnesses in general, regardless if it's the COVID or any other disease.
it looks like there's a question from Arlinda. She's using ginger root and turmeric daily. Is there a side effect if you drink it every day?
I don't believe there is any side effect if it's once a day. It's a tea like any other tea, and it has that sedative kind of alkaline effect on the turmeric. And there is a big studies now about the positive effect of turmeric.
Well, we do know that centuries ago there was no medication for anything, and many cultures relied on the earth, plants, flowers, anything that was natural and that was organic. So if we can go back to those medicinal cures, medicinal remedies that are natural, then we might be able to solve some of the medical problems. But people don't want to try the simple things, right? Like ginger root and all of the different types of plant-based diets now are helping, because if you use something natural rather than something pharmaceutical or something that has been processed, you're going to get an effect that's totally different. We didn't always have to take a pill for everything that was wrong with us. There were so many homeopathic things. And if you study it, it's amazing how our diet is influenced by our stress is influenced by our diet. I think I said that the right way. So there are so many foods that contribute to probably creating more stress on our bodies than less. And then there's those that if you study, you can reach out, you can find holistic, homeopathic diets and people who will actually help you, coach you through it if you can't do it yourself. I study it myself and try to find ways to work on whatever physical ailments I have in a natural way.
Wow. Yeah. Actually, I also was reading somewhere that some of the fight that used to happen in the past, it was like countries trying to invading places that they have some herbs that was proven to heal and cure. So
Yes.
it was always something valuable to go and try to go from natural remedies. And what I believe happened is when the pharmaceutical saw that positive effect, so they took that kind of effect and they manufactured it and it became medication. So a lot of the medication is coming from the natural remedies, and it's just like it was because it was tested and it's approved, so it's considered safe, which is true because sometimes any too much of anything, even if it's a good stuff, it can cause harm. So, but that goes with everything, and we usually have the common sense. Like if I'm taking 2 cups of ginger tea or turmeric tea or medicine or supplement, you should consult with somebody to make sure that it doesn't interfere with any medication that you are taking. That's number one. Number two, that it's the correct dose. And the most important thing is you see how you're going to feel, your body, how your body is going to feel. If you have more energy, if your skin start to feel soft, if you feel like happy and light and outgoing, usually you can tell after a while if you're on the right track or not. And that's if you follow certain lifestyle for certain period of time, your body will tell you if you goes off. You will sleep and wake up, oh, what did I do wrong yesterday, kind of, because nobody's perfect and we are not 100% right all the time. So when we go off, we realize it and we don't feel bad, but we go back on our previous goal and system that we developed to take care of ourselves.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Lisa and Dr. Azza. Let's give them a big round of applause, everybody. And of course, thank you so much to our friends who actually join us in this episode of The Glass Half Full, hosted by Dr. Lisa and Dr. Azza. Before I ask for your words of advice and before we end our program, I would like to comment on the things that we spoke about today, especially on acceptance or ways to practice self-acceptance. All right, self-acceptance is essential for our mental health and our emotional well-being. It is important to learn to love ourselves and the things that make us unique. So self-acceptance is learning to love yourself inside and out. It's about letting go of the things you can change and appreciating what makes you unique. All right, and how are we going to do that? Number one, embrace what makes us unique. A good place to start is to think of the things that make us special. Let go of the things that you cannot change. Identify your strengths, set goals, celebrate our accomplishments. Small or big, we have to recognize ourselves. Plan ahead, think positively, and lastly, which is very important, I would like to say that we have to be kind to ourselves. Kind to ourselves and be kind to others as well. All right, so I would like to ask from our experts, Dr. Lisa, to start off with your parting words to our listener.
I'm glad we were able to talk about herbal remedies and other healthy ways to actually improve our general health. And our mind and our body really is one. And I think if we start to think about all of the things we can do for our bodies, which is more the physical aspect of health. It will definitely improve your mental health. It's one system, but we like to separate it out and say this person has a mental health issue. But the brain is part of the body. We didn't separate it out. So try to think of it more as if whatever I put into my body, whatever thing I try to help myself to feel better, then in turn will help and assist with your mental health. It should be all inclusive, but we separated out mental health versus physical health. And I think that once we look at it as a unit, then we can start to see how we can improve our health, both physically and mentally.
Thank you very much. All right, Dr. Azza. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Lisa. All right, so where is she? Okay, thank you very much once again to our panel. While we are waiting for Dr. Lisa, would you like to read some more comments, Dr. Lisa?
Yes, thank you, Dr. and Dr. Azza, for explaining and sharing our skills. And thank you for all your comments. Erlinda has given us many different ideas and thoughts. We appreciate you as well. And I think it's helpful that you are able to listen to what we discussed and then kind of incorporate it in your comments. So it helps to kind of recap and summarize what we've been talking about. Hopefully it makes sense. You never know with us and I which way we're going, but hopefully it's helpful.
I think this is going to be it has been a very interesting conversation, Dr. Lisa. Okay, and I'm actually thinking about what is the next topic that we can discuss, and with the support of our listeners and viewers from the Glass Half Full and the Wave Radio 1120 FM, they can actually send some suggestions. All right, so you can email us to send your email to mjmakemayday2@gmail.com, and also please promote our the Glass Half Full Facebook page, Dr. Lisa.
Thank you for reminding us. Yes, and you can contact us on our Facebook page, ask us questions, comments. I'm keeping track of it. I'm paying attention. So if any of you have other thoughts, please contact us.
All right, thank you very much. I don't know what happened to Dr. Azza, but I'm pretty sure she's still with us watching. So, all right. So, with that, everybody, on behalf of Dr. Azza Ezzat, here is Dr. Lisa, our expert, and this is the Glass Half Full. My name is MJ Make My Day, and thank you very much for joining us for another informative and educational information for everybody. And this is the Glass Half Full, hosted by Dr. Lisa and Dr. Azza. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.